let me tell you something. I'm gonna be honest with you. What you're saying is the most genius thing ever. But you have to be at least like in your 30s to comprehend.
But that's why you bring people around us to help you do that. Like,
that's why he should have had OGs. He should have had OGs.
You're going to see Bias right now. The light-skinned dude, that's my OG.
Okay.
If he say, sit your ass down, sit your ass down. Till this day.
Right.
Till this day, because I know he going to lead me right.
So my question to you is, did Kodak have any OGs around him that you could have talked to? Because you know that, the thing about it is, I'll give you a great example, right? Like when I first started doing reggaeton, I was telling these people about publishing.
No, stop right there.
Okay.
Stop making excuses.
No,
I started my business at 19. Don't say they're young or whatever.
Yeah,
Let's make this. The choice is on you. You got to make those decisions. Do you want to be bigger or you just want to be regular? You got somebody that know how to make hundreds of millions of dollars out of the music business. You got an expert. I can show you how to get the money. You just got to use me. Damn. So if you hard it, see in prison right now because he didn't listen. He didn't commit this crime. See innocent. We fighting for him. We shouldn't have to be fighting for him. If he listened. So if you want to be a man, it's like me. Pete. I'm telling you, my grandfather told me a hard head make a soft ass. Yep. That's it. Straight up. You got to go out there and
No, you're right. You know what? You're right. I was making excuses. But the thing is, I'm trying to give, because you know what it is, Pete?
Nor would you be alive right now if people made excuses for you?
No.
Think about it. You might bump your head. Yeah, let us go bump our head, but you ain't got to bump your head if I already did it 10 times.
But the thing is, Pete, when we came out in the 90s, it was a lot harder for us to come out. It's a lot easier for these kids to come out.
So you saying just because they should be different?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is they have a lot less guidance with them. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not making excuses.
You think when a guy took him to jail, you think he worried about how young he is?
Yeah, that's true.
Let's be honest. You going to prison with everybody else.
Right.
You're going to have to, even with me or you, they don't care how old or how young you is.
Yeah,
it's about doing what's right.
No, you're right.
If you know you not a thinker, then go find you a thinker. You know what I'm saying? If you know that you don't want to do the work, then you're going to find somebody that's going to do the work for you.
Right.
But if you find a yes man, you're going to end up dead or in prison.
Right.
To be honest, because certain things you don't need to be doing.
Wow. So this is a rare video right here, unlike any of the videos that I've made, coming directly from a personal experience, dealing with a good friend of mine of whom we'll call Viktorious. This video says everything that deals with the struggle and strife that my once good friend is dealing with to this day. So let me go ahead and start by telling you about this friend of mine. Good guy, comes from a different part of Indiana, I think Marion. Indian guy. First Indian American friend that I've made to this magnitude in my lifetime. I knew a few Indian American, first generation kids that I went to school with, but none that I had made this kind of bond with. And the guy, great guy, great heart, loved hip hop, etc. So Viktorious was to be somebody that was going to be coming along with me in the road to success. He was going to be filling out the company, playing different roles. At one point in time, he was actually a band manager, attending shows and assisting with the band with different tasks and duties on site at different clubs, etc. Viktorious was married with 2 children, and he would later get divorced as his marriage was very turbulent. His biggest problem was, and this stems back all the way to his childhood, was him not really having an independence of his own. Him really not having an independent footing. I was reading a synopsis on a book from a friend of mine, and it was written, it's a self-help book. I can't think of the title of it, but the guy he's an Indian guy, and he says, coming from the family I come from, there were 3 things. You had 3 choices of what you could do. You could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, or you had to be, I forgot what the third was, but 3 high power choices in the field of education, in American education. So, and that's what he was saying his parents demanded of him, as him being a first generation Indian kid from his family. He too had 2 other siblings, and he would be the one that diverted from the game plan of the family. He didn't become a lawyer, he didn't become a doctor, he didn't become the 3rd high-power career, of which that's not coming to mind right now. He ends up becoming a monk and traveling to back home to India, studying whatever monks study. He was considered a failure by his family, a black sheep. But he pulls himself up by his bootstraps, becomes a writer, has a #1 bestseller, etc. I'll put a picture of the book right over here because it looks like it's a good book. I haven't read it, but a friend of mine is reading it right now for self-help purposes. Vic's story, Viktorious' story is the same. Comes from a family of 5, 2 siblings. One becomes a doctor, the other becomes a upper level administrator in the hospital, and Viktorious becomes a failure. I made this video because his failure exceeds him tremendously. I made this video because I'm not sure when we'll talk again, if we'll ever talk again, because he is a toxic character. At this time, right now, at this moment, he is currently sitting in the Marion County Correctional Facility downtown, the Marion County Jail, awaiting for trial this August. The charges include multiple felonies that deal with assault and batteries, deadly weapons, and also in front of children. He beat a person really bad because of this person being a man that was seeing his ex-wife, and he came to the house of either his ex-wife's or that person and beat the man severely, and now he's paying consequence for it. Well, he's not paying yet, but he's getting set up to pay those consequences. This follows behind a slew of charges that he just had as a collection for the previous years before. He was just recently on probation dealing with OWIs, multiple charges, other battery charges as well, other domestic charges. I got to see his whole record just a couple of days ago, from previous all the way to current to today. So I run back into Viktorious sometime about a couple years ago. I opened my doors back up to him again because we had parted ways because of his turbulence. I opened my doors back up to him and basically bring him to my table of friends. And he was doing good. He was making strides. He was showing progress. He was improving his life. And he would end up moving to a house in a rough territory of Indianapolis and meeting a cast of characters who, in my opinion, would be responsible for his decline. Characters that were alcoholics that did nothing but sit on the porch and drink alongside him. Characters that were meth users. Characters that were, it was even some guy that had gotten raped behind the house in that neighborhood. I heard of guys getting raped in prison, but never out in a social setting, free in, on the street and behind some house. That don't sound like rape to me. It sounds consensual, but who knows? But this is the all-star team of bummery that he would choose to assemble alongside himself after, me opening my doors for him to come and, kind of just heal from his divorce and rebuild himself. So he is suffering terribly. I can only imagine what his sisters are thinking. I want to say this, Viktorious. It's so unfortunate to know that you're in this predicament, to know that you're literally in jail in a place that I drive past every other day and have to imagine you in there. I hate that. I hate that tremendously. I wish that you had stuck to the game plan. As I sit right now, I've built with the help of Group 82 University. I've built a YouTube outlet that is nearing 20,000 subscribers, about to break 10 million views, and all of our platforms, with the exception of one, is over 2-3 million views per platform. Classic Records is on its way, and it's on its way in a stable, solid format. And this was something that I wanted you to be a part of. What really caught me is Master P's entire statement comes down to one thing in the end. He says, know your strengths. So if you know you're not a thinker, go and while you're building your team, get yourself a thinker. You know your strengths. Acquire the tools that you know of which you lack in the department of. And that's what I was trying to show Viktorious. And I was wanting to build with him. But unfortunately, his lack of foresight, his lack of day-to-day planning, his insatiable appetite for alcohol, and his want to continue to have yes men and yes figures around him has now brought him to an inevitable demise. I never wish jail on even my worst enemies, let alone an individual that is a friend. And I felt encouraged to make this video because, one, I want him to hear that message from Master P in the beginning. And then two, I want him to hear this portion from me. And I want to tell you, Viktorious, that you fucked up. You fucked up bad. You got 2 kids that you didn't think about, and now they've been taken from you. Who knows if you'll get them back? When you use a weapon, a deadly weapon, you induce harm on an individual in front of children. In any state, I imagine, it is a severe consequence. But in our state, yes, it's a severe consequence. It's a high-level felony. And coupled with multiple felonies in that act, there's no telling what the outcome for you will be. I hope that it's an outcome that you can withstand. I hope that it's an outcome that God is able to help you see through. And not just a wrist slapper. Another thing that Master P says in here that was attention grabbing was, Nori, quit making excuses. Where would you be if people made excuses for you all the way on your journey? You'd probably be dead or in jail. Well, my friend is in jail. And a lot of people made excuses for him repeatedly, over and over. All the way down to the drunk peon yes men that he kept around him through the duration of his demise. Hell, whatever he touched during this last 2 years turned to shit. He loaned a van or his vehicle to an individual who ran into a roadside assistance worker, and that roadside assistance man had to get his legs amputated because of that. You took a man's career because of your carelessness, loaning a vehicle to a person who doesn't even have a license, and that person was on the road under the influence of narcotics, and then almost killed a man. Took a man's ability to walk and an ability to provide for his family as by the means of his profession, rather, excuse me. That really piqued my interest because I have a roadside assistance business. I am a roadside assistance technician that runs a business with employees. And I can only imagine if myself or one of my employees was hit on the side of the road and that was to happen to them. That would be devastating. Shame on you. A plague has come over your house and it is dark. It's one of the darkest that you've ever dealt with. told me once that you couldn't make your own decisions, and you just didn't know why. Footnote: Viktorious is a very sporadic kind of guy. He doesn't take time to think. But you told me that's why you went to the Army, because that was a place where they could make decisions for you. And lo and behold, you basically were outed out of the Army, luckily without a dishonorable discharge. God has helped you at every turn of your mistakes and lessened the blow every single occasion. Your season is here to pay for currently the mistakes you've made in the past. I hope you face up to it. I hope you realize that. And I hope you do what needs to be done. And I wish you the best from my heart. You should be a part of this. You should be a part of this. You should be a part of what's coming. You should be learning every day about this music business, about the internet business, and also about cryptocurrencies, which we're going to be talking about coming soon this year. You should be a part of all that. But unfortunately, God's seen otherwise. So, this video was made for you, Viktorious. And to your sisters, I'm so sorry. I hope that you don't look at me in any kind of negative light. I was the best friend that I could be as long as I could be. But you know your brother. And that is a very tough task, to stand by the side of someone who is so destructive, self-destructive. Yeah. But enough said. Great message from Master P, and this applies to you, Viktorious, especially for you. So don't expect for me to make videos like this, because I don't do videos like this. I prefer to stick to the professional business topics. I prefer to stick to number work and business tactics within music, and coming soon, cryptocurrency information. But this had to be made. Maybe I had to make it for myself. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Omega Classic Records is the page and the name. Thanks for watching this. Peace.